What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you've seen this video floating around the internet. I've had this guy for about a year now, and this is the pre-production model, which was fantastic. It's survived. I've absolutely torture tested this thing. Now, I wanted to do a long-term review. So I spoke to the guys at Meraki, and they've been nice enough to send me a production type. This is the full scale, all the upgrades, everything ready to go. So I wanted to take my time to show you guys all the upgrades that I've had over a year and how well this thing has survived. So before I give you guys a rundown on the differences between the pre-production and the production model, I just want to give you a quick rundown on the specs of these machines. So first up, the machine is running a commercial grade rotary pump. So not your typical vibration pump that you're finding in most machines like your Breville's and other machines like that. So super quiet, super stable extractions because you're not having that pulse of pressure. It's very clean, very easy to make a super consistent coffee. And then we have true dual boilers. So you have a boiler for the extraction and a boiler for the steam. And they both have their own PID control. So you can set the temperature for each of them individually. And here's the kicker. This machine warms up in about 3 to 4 minutes. Now I know there's a lot of machines out there that claim to be this quick or even quicker. However, they only have an internal temperature that's at the correct temperature. This machine has an adjustable temperature group head heater. So you can adjust it to the temp you like, and because it's assisting with the temperature, it actually heats all the useful parts of the machine up to the correct temperature before extracting coffee. For those that don't quite understand what I'm talking about, is on a machine that has a really fast heat up time, the boiler's ready, but the portafilter is still cold. So when you make your first coffee, it's going to be different to when you make your next coffee when the portafilter is hot. And you do have the ability to schedule your machine to turn on and off it as many times and days as you like. So if you do have that, it's great, but if there is a time where you just feel like a sneaky afternoon coffee, pop the machine on and in a few minutes you can make yourself a great coffee. And for the steam, they have reworked the machine so that you're getting what they call air-liquid separation. So you're gonna get a nice dry steam. You're not gonna get that water coming through, ruining your milk for the first couple of seconds. Makes it really easy to give you good quality textured milk, and you can actually set the steam pressure from a really mild setting up to strong. Oh, and did I mention that the steam wand is Cool Touch? So you can do this and this. You get the idea. Now my favorite feature of this machine has to be the dual scales with the built-in brew by weight feature. So no more guessing, no more mucking around with wasting coffee. Tell it how many grams of coffee you want, it gives you that many grams, and then you tell it how many grams of espresso you want out and it gives you the same. It is fantastic, it removes all the guesswork. All you need to do is adjust your grind setting on the grinder and you have super consistent coffee every time. I will be doing a separate video for this machine on brew recipes and helping people build their espresso, but it won't be in this video. Click that subscribe button, that video is going to be coming up very soon. And speaking of the grinder, this grinder is actually partnered with TimeMore. So it's not just some generic basic thing built by someone, it's actually got some grinding technology in it and it's super consistent. It has really surprised me for the last 12 months. Now, just like every machine, it's not perfect. There are some little downsides that I want to point out, but stay tuned for that. That one's going to come at the end of the video. But now it's time to talk about some of the misconceptions that people may have about this machine simply from the original early reviews. So the early prototype machines came with a portafilter and it had a lot of plastic involved. It was still okay, but there were definitely a couple of people that I saw break their portafilter. Obviously not ideal. So now they've got a proper timber and stainless steel handle. It's really good quality and it does feel quite nice in the hand. And the portafilter still has this modular setup, so you can pop your spouts on there, you can take it on and off with no tools, pops on there really nice and it does stay there. Now I'd have a really cool little brewing tip that I want to show people, so make sure you click that subscribe button and that will be in the next video about the Meraki. And then when it comes to electronics plus water, you don't want those two mixing. There were a couple of little issues with PCB boards being exposed to water, but that's now been solved. It's completely covered and enclosed, not going to be an issue anymore. Now, another issue that a few people have pointed out is that their steam wand wasn't super stable. It would fall and flop around. That's an issue that they have fixed. I didn't experience this myself, but it's good to hear they have fixed that. Now, I'm sure you could imagine that the internals of this machine looks pretty futuristic. However, it's actually very modular. So if you have an issue with one unit, you replace the module, nice and easy, really, really simple to work on. And this is actually something they do encourage you to work on your own machine. They've made it super simple so that if there is an issue, contact them, they send you the module, pop it in. And there are global partners with Meraki that I'm sure can help you out along the way. If you don't want to deal with any of this stuff, Meraki will actually cover all associated costs, including shipping and customs, to get it to those guys, and they will fix it for you. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I saw some online comments. Most of this is through the Facebook group from Meraki. They are super active, very responsive, and extremely helpful. It's good to see that they've got the community covered and they really do care about people's experience with their machines. Pop the link below for that as well if you want to join. It's a really, really good community of machine owners. Now, when it comes to the accessories the machine comes with, you're covered. It's got all the cleaning stuff, the brushes. It does come with its own aluminium tamper and distribution tool. They're very basic, but they do exactly what they need to do. And like most people, we're going to change it, or we've got our own, or we want something different anyway, so they haven't gone over the top and pushed the cost of this machine through the roof. They've kept it simple. That's the way to do it. And in the early models, it had this little plastic two-piece tamping station, and it was perfectly fine. But again, they've opted for a timber, nice, solid. It definitely feels much nicer on the bench, looks better, and even sounds better when you're tamping and making a bit of noise. So, good upgrade there, guys. It's well played. So before we wrap this up, let's make a coffee. I'm gonna give you a quick little rundown on the workflow of this machine and show you how accurate it is. All right, guys, it's time to make a coffee. So click your grinder button, select how many grams of coffee you would like. We're just gonna go for 22, hit OK, and then we grind. Now we're ready to make a coffee. Pull the dosing cup out, pop it on top, flip it over. I like to use a dosing ring and a little WD-T tool. Then we use the distributor supplied, and then we tamp. So now we're ready to make a coffee. Pop the portafilter in, nice and firm. Make sure you put your cup on the scale before you start brewing. Hit the brew button, choose your brew temperature. I'm just going to go to 90 degrees Celsius, and then choose how many grams out. We're going to do a 2-to-1 ratio, so 22 grams of coffee in, 44 grams of coffee out. Hit play, and I do have pre-infusion on. You'll hear the difference here. So the first few seconds of pre-infusion. And there you have a really good, really easy espresso. So if you wanted your shot time to be faster, all you do is adjust your grind setting a little bit coarser. If you want it slower, obviously go finer, and then the scales will do the rest of the work for you. Now for those that want it, you do have the option to use the manual brewing as well. Push the lever across, and once you get to the desired weight of coffee, you can simply just stop it. So when steaming your milk, you can choose whichever pressure you like, from gentle, mild, medium, and strong. I'm going to show you the strongest setting, and then you can also play with temperatures, and then it will stop at a certain temperature, or you can go completely manual and push the thing as far as you like. So once the milk got to the desired temperature, it stopped itself. And as you can see, nice silky milk. Now, quick confession. The machine does come with its own milk jug, however the size of the cup I was using was far bigger than what this is going to allow me to use, so I had to use a different one. This is perfectly fine, especially if you're using a smaller cup. And the milk I was using, not ideal. That was just like a skim long life. Not the best milk, but it was perfectly fine. So you can imagine with a good quality milk, that would have been even better. So in the last 12 months, Meraki have also been working on their quality. So they've upgraded a lot of these little parts from plastic over to aluminium, making the machine feel much more premium, less of that plastic on plastic creak that you get from a lot of machines these days. They've solved all those problems. They're nice and solid. You don't need to worry about that stuff anymore. So guys, that is the Meraki espresso machine. Rotary pump, dual PID boilers, dry steam, dual scales with built-in brew by weight. All of the things. It is amazing for the price. It is so much better than the machines you're buying. You know the ones. If you're still buying one of those machines in comparison to this, crazy. It makes no sense why you would buy one of those toaster brand machines when you can have this. Much better coffee, much better looking, actually going to last beyond its warranty period. It's a no-brainer. And of course, forget what you saw in the old clips from the pre-production model, because this guy is now next level. I'll be keeping this forever. Now, like I said, there is a negative about this machine. It's not major, but it exists. And my job is to find anything that I can pick on with anything I play with. The one and only thing I would have liked to have seen is a proper E61 group head. So these guys might look very similar, but they're not. A proper E61 portafilter does not fit in the Meraki. It's close, but it's not going to work. Now, why is that an issue? Number one, I like to change things. I like to mix it up and put different brands of stuff in. I've got some really nice portafilters, like these beautiful carbon forged titanium Plenum Labs portafilters. These are amazing, but unfortunately they don't fit my Meraki. Or even just a Passato portafilter. These are nice, you can get them everywhere, you can change all the colors. So just to be able to customize your machine, it's a nice touch, but that's not the end of the world. There is another part of it that makes it a little bit more of an inconvenience. Now, a big part of what I do is machine servicing. Meraki do have seals available, but it would have been really nice if it was just a standard fitment like a lot of other machines out there. Now, in comparison to your Breville's or your DeLonghi's or any of those things, they don't have an E61 either. So it's not the end of the world. It just would have been a nice, convenient thing so that I didn't have to carry another range of spare parts. However, they have opted for a proper 58mm portafilter. So as you can see, that is an IMS basket. So you can fit commercial baskets, all of the brands and the whatever it is you're after, you can make it fit. Now, along with the issue of the portafilter and group head style, there's been a couple of models that I've noticed it's a bit rough to put it in. Now, typically the majority of that roughness and noise does go away after 5 to 10 coffees. Now, with those very minor negatives in mind, I believe that this machine is almost perfect. Almost. Like I've said many times before, I don't believe that any machine, grinder, any product is perfect. There's always room for improvement, and if they were to put an E61 into this, I wouldn't be able to fault it. But in saying that, I do believe that this is the best machine in the market right now. Now, I believe in this machine so much that I have joined forces with Meraki. There is a link below that will take you to purchase your machine or accessories. If you purchase through that link, it contributes to the channel so that we can do more funky stuff, we can afford to do more things on the channel, and you guys get to see better content. So click the link, buy the best machine in the world, and enjoy. That's going to do it for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourselves a great day, and happy brewing.